The Adrift expedition has some of the best rewards in recent expeditions for No Man's Sky. Stealth paint, the special Vulture hauler that can even be scrapped for its parts to craft another with your own paint choices, and some sweet looking crash ship base building parts. So I've got you covered with a step-by-step guide to take you through Adrift super efficiently to save you time during this busy period. This guide takes into account resources you'll need, milestones you'll need to claim rewards from, and more. There are even 3 milestones that reward multi-tool or ship class upgrades. We won't touch those during this guide, so you can get yourself a B-class MT and an A-class ship and get them to S-class for free later. Right, let's get this expedition done. First thing after initializing is to check the network settings in the pause menu and make sure multiplayer is disabled. Next, open up your exosuit inventory and move the jetpack to one supercharged slot. Have its upgrade touch it, then move the hazard protection to the other. Lastly, move the life support upgrade to touch the life support core module. Now switch to a multi-tool. If you have a supercharged slot, put your boltcaster in it, and regardless of SC slots, move your A-class boltcaster upgrade to touch the core and the other to touch the A-class. If you have another spare supercharged slot, put the mining beam in that. Your first goal is to get to your ship, but on the way you have a list of resources to gather. They are on screen now. You'll also need to destroy 6 hazardous flora, which coincides with gathering the oxygen. If you target the gaseous ones, you can grab the 3 pods around them before mining them to get an extra 80 or so oxygen. Another thing to do on the way to the ship is to scan all the flora and fauna you see. If you see a body of water, that will provide a number of extra flora to scan as well as underwater fauna. Upon reaching your ship, Alone in the Dark will trigger. When it does, claim the rewards from it. Craft 6 metal plating and 5 hermetic seals. Then install the advanced mining laser, completing From the Ashes. Claim the rewards from the Ashes also. If the site your ship is at has a waypoint where you can save and chart it. Now it's time to hunt some Titan worm larvae and get the last resource. Use your analysis vise to find a nearby Titan worm burrow. Head over to it with your boltcaster equipped and loaded, and once you get a little close, the larva will poke out of the ground. Shoot and destroy all 3. On death, they will drop a vile spawn egg. These are worth picking up as they can be refined to 50 nanites each later, as can the fleshy rope you gain upon destroying one. Also be wary of the xenomorphs that will spawn once you start attacking the worms. With those 3 down, find one more burrow and destroy at least 2 of them to complete Still They Hunger. At some point during your adventure on this first planet, it is likely to go nighttime. If it does, look up at the stars, with a still small voice milestone focused for 60 seconds to complete it. The rewards from this are inconsequential, so if you don't do it now, just do it at some point when you are within nighttime on a planet. Lastly, before returning to your ship, gather 110 condensed carbon. Back at your ship, install the Personal Refiner Mark II into your exosuit. Once self-reliance triggers, claim its rewards. Now fuel up the refiner with some carbon and refine the list on screen now. Then craft 6 carbon nanotubes. Now fix the launch thruster and pulse engine in your ship. It's time to get airborne. Lift off, but don't fly to space just yet. Use your ship scanner to find buildings and land at them to chart the waypoint. If your initial site had a waypoint to chart, just find 2 more. If it didn't, find 3. Next, enter space, completing an unlikely escape and find some asteroids to shoot up. After destroying 30 asteroids, worlds of rock and ice will complete. Before moving on, open your ship inventory and open the gold nuggets and tritium hyperclusters to free a bit of space and make the gold usable. Make your way over to the dissonant planet in the system. Once there, land anywhere. We want 3 things from here, as well as some scanning, so scan all of the flora and fauna you see. Then mine a radiant shard to complete Call of the Void. Now use your analysis visor to find an activated copper deposit and mine 499 or more from it. Lastly, mine 99 Atlantidium from the pink crystals. On the way back to your ship, refine 435 of the activated copper. You want to save 64 of it for crafting later, so make sure you don't accidentally refine or sell that. After that's refined, refine the fleshy ropes and Valspawn eggs from before. Lastly, craft 5 microprocessors. Now we can head to the space station, so leave the planet and pulse over. At the station, head to the trade terminal in the back to complete Lights Out. Claim the rewards from both Lights Out and Worlds of Rock and Ice. Craft 2 surge batteries. If you only have enough gold for one, that's fine, the other is just a spare. If you have less than 20 gold somehow from those asteroids, shoot a few after leaving the station to craft it. Next, install the hyperdrive in your ship and fuel it with 3 warp cells. Before leaving the station, check the teleporter on the other side. You are looking for a player base that signifies it is marking a sunken freighter. If you find one, teleport to it. If not, fly to the planet Adlincy and to the coordinates -45.50 by +76.60, where you'll find a sunken freighter. At the spot, scan all the fauna and flora you see then dive into the water, heading to the red glowing sphere at the centre of the crash site to interact with the black box and work through the dialogue, completing fathoms below. While in the water, use your visor to find nearby crystal sulfide. You need 6 of them, so 2 vents worth. Swim over and grab the crystals to complete the Lure of the Deep. Scanning the underwater flora should also complete Life Reimagined. Don't forget to scan any fauna too. Before getting back to your ship, mine 1 kelp sack plant to get a kelp sack item for later. If you teleported to a base for the freighter, you may not be on Adlindsey. If you aren't, fly over to Adlindsey, as it's the only planet with ancient bones in this system. Once you are on Adlindsey, or are still on it, build the signal booster, focus the milestone Abandonment, and use the booster to scan for damaged ships. This will mark a crash ship. Fly over to the distress signal marker, land and claim the ship. To complete Abandonment, you just need to fix the launch thruster and pulse engine, so do that. Once the milestone triggers, claim its rewards. Get back into your original ship and install the 2 A-class hyperdrive upgrades you just got. Use your analysis visor to look around for any nearby ancient bone dig sites. If you see one, pop over and dig up the bones. Now build the signal booster again, and this time focus the milestone Nameless History. Scanning the top option, which this time is Ruins, pick up your signal booster and fly to the marker. At the ruins or ancient plaque, interact with it and choose language or knowledge. Knowledge will give you a treasure ruin marker, but you aren't in need of the units, so language is quicker. Do this rotation of scanning for a ruin, then getting to it and interacting with it to pick an option 2 more times to complete Nameless History. Until you have dug up 3 ancient bones to complete Bones to Dust, also look to nearby dig sites to plunder. Once you're good, head back to the space station. Claim the rewards from In the Weeds, Still They Hunger, Life Reimagined, and Nameless History. At the trade terminal in the station, sell the Nip Nip Buds, Wriggling Tack, Healthy Wheat Blocks, Historical Record, Treasure Item, the Ancient Bones you dug up, any meat and mordite you had from defending yourself on the first planet, and 6 crystal sulfide you gathered. Now buy an emergency signal scanner. With the scanner in hand, leave the station and start pulsing. Use the emergency signal scanner in your inventory, and when your HUD alerts you, drop out of pulse and land on the derelict freighter. Before getting out of your ship, clear your exosuit inventory a little. Move the technology upgrades to your ship, as well as things like slot augments, worm folios, save beacon, etc. Making sure to keep ammunition and life support gel on you. At the airlock, be sure to loot the blue crate in front of the airlock door and take the emergency supplies from the console while unlocking. This derelict is a super easy one. The only enemies are the green jellyfish, so ignore or shoot them. You don't technically need to loot anything but the 3 terminals throughout, and so also datapads to get the login credentials for the second terminal. But this has a nice few containers for loot, so if you have time, may as well empty the lot. The technology option on the final terminal will only give you a B-class technology, so I'd highly advise choosing bulkhead or nanites. Once completed and derelict triggered, get back to your ship. Fix these specific slots in your multi-tool and ship using these specific methods. We're utilising the 3 repair kits we got from that crate in the beginning to save on resources so we could gather less at the beginning. With Make Do and Mend triggered, claim the rewards from dereliction. It's time to finally leave this system, but don't worry, we are already halfway through this entire expedition. Lift off and warp to the Rendezvous 1 system. Upon entering the system, pull straight for the Rendezvous 1 marker. Rendezvous 1 is an abandoned transmission tower. It should be just to the right as you approach the marker. Land and get out to trigger the milestone. Scan all of the fauna you see, then chart the waypoint. Now it's time to steal some larval cores. You need to gather 9. There are up to 15 eggs around this building. My favourite method is to shoot 1 or 2, pick up the larval cores while these xenomorphs are spawning, then start sprinting around the building. As I come close to another egg patch, I'll shoot 1 or 2 of them as I approach and pick them up as I run past. Constantly moving makes it difficult for them to attack you. Once you have the 9, completing Stirring the Nest, jetpack onto the roof for safety until the swarm subsides. While waiting, refine the larval cores, any Hador cores you received from the derelict, and any radiant shards you picked up on the dissonant planet. This will complete Quantum Foam. Now focus the milestone The Faintest Echo. Build your signal booster again and scan for the top option. Head over to the light tower. At the light tower, chart the waypoint, then get to the top of the tower. Charge the terminal and work through the dialogue, completing the milestone. Now focus the Amidst the Stars milestone, though it should already be focused, and fly into space. Summon and enter the space anomaly. Inside, head up to the teleporter room and go through it to the room in the back. Access the terminal and work through the dialogue. Craft the Mind Arc and 2 metal plating. Interact with the terminal again for more dialogue, and then a marker to a boundary portal. With a new marker, leave the anomaly and head to it. Land at the portal, charge it with the Mind Arc and activate it. walk through the portal. Make sure to turn your camera to face behind you while floating. After hanging out for a bit, you'll find yourself on a toxic planet away from your ship. Scan all of the fauna you see while making your way back to your ship. Focus a Rendezvous 2 milestone and warp to the system. Fly straight into the space station and pop to the trade terminal. We're going to sell some stuff to make our inventory easy to work with. You can sell the items marked as trade goods in their subtitles such as teleport coordinates. You can also sell any hypnotic eyes you have, as well as any leftover Atlantidium and activated copper. Before leaving, buy 3 wiring loom. Claim the rewards from Amidst the Stars. Then install the cadmium drive in your ship. Now you can leave the station and pulse to the Rendezvous 2 marker. Rendezvous 2 is a trading post and one of the more annoying to find as this planet storms often. As you approach, scanning may help to locate the trading post. Once you find it, land and get out to trigger the milestone, and be sure to check for any fauna to scan. At this point you may have completed the Not Alone milestone. If not, just keep scanning fauna when you land at a planet. There are plenty left to get and you won't need this milestone rewards until the end. Now get in your ship, take off and look for a super tall mountain. When you see one, land on top and get out. You are aiming to complete all that you survey. If this mountain isn't tall enough, find a taller one. Now focus the Rendezvous 3 milestone and warp there. On entering, start pulsing to the marker. Once pulsing, focus the To Dream of Stars milestone. When the HUD alerts you, exit pulse and work through the dialogue to complete the milestone. Claim the rewards from To Dream of Stars and install the pre-packaged sublight amplifier it gives. Refocus the Rendezvous 3 milestone and continue pulsing to it. Rendezvous 3 is another abandoned transmission tower. This one is located just after the marker. It's nice and easy to find. Land and get out to trigger the milestone. Now chart the waypoint, completing Signs to Nowhere. Focus the Rendezvous 4 milestone. It's time to warp again. As with Rendezvous 3, start pulsing to the marker, and once started, focus the To Dream of Freedom milestone. This time, however, you will likely instantly have an alert. This will be for the Ghostly Frigate, so exit pulse and answer its communication. Then re-enter pulse to get the second alert and complete the milestone. Then refocus Rendezvous 4 and continue there. Rendezvous 4 is a crashed freighter and very easy to spot. Land and get out to trigger the milestone. Now focus the Rendezvous 5 milestone and warp there. For Rendezvous 5 we're going to do the same as in the last system. Start pulsing to the marker, then focus the To Dream of Sleep milestone. The first alert will be the Ghostly Frigate again, so sort the communication on that, and then continue pulsing to get the dialogue in Nebula and complete the milestone. Refocus Rendezvous 5 and continue toward it. Rendezvous 5 is a crashed ship and it's a little pesky to find. You should find it a little north of the marker. Land and get out at the crashed ship to trigger the milestone. Also be sure to claim the ship, as if you're doing this from an existing save, it'll give you an extra 900 nanites when finishing up. Now it's time to use the signal booster one last time, so build it and focus the Ghost in the Machine milestone. Scan using the top option to get a grave marker very close by. Travel to the marker and interact with it to get its dialogue and complete the milestone. Just 2 to 3 milestones left. Fly up into space, enter the galactic map. It's time to warp to an unmarked system. This system is called Uzoisag 21. That's what I'm pronouncing it as anyway. It's a red system that is very close and just to the right of your current system when entering the map. Warp there. Fly to the closest planet. It's a capped planet called Zeziuzam. Land anywhere, get out and scan the first 2 fauna you see. They will be robotic and complete It's Alive. Now claim the rewards from Not Alone, then build the nutrient processor. In the processor, cook 1 kelp sack into kelp rice, then the kelp rice into flour. Put that aside and cook 1 faecium into wild yeast. Then cook both the flour and the yeast into dough, then the dough into bread, completing by bread alone. At some point you likely completed Time on Your Feet. If you didn't, just walk and sprint without jetpack boosting until it completes and you are done. Adrift Redux complete. To polish off, you'll want to get to a trade terminal and claim the rest of the milestone rewards, selling off unwanted resources etc. to make room. Though be careful, 3 of the milestones have class upgrades that may go to waste if you wanted to upgrade a B or A class multi-tool to S, or an A class ship to S for free. Also with this expedition's rules tweaked, all space stations sell emergency signal scanners way cheaper than normal, so buying a bunch of those to take back would be helpful. If you want a written step list to go along when playing, I've linked it in the description. Also note that this is the last of the step-by-step guides for this current round of Reduxes. The amount of work involved for the time the video is relevant is just too small. These step-by-steps take multiple days to make to this level, so I feel they'll need to be only done for the full-length expeditions from now on. However, I will be doing tips guides for the rest, noting the time-saving knowledge and special locations that many come to these to grab. Have a great evening, and good luck in the expedition.